Hello, everybody, and welcome to what we'll call this a test episode of Force of Will Versus, where we just basically take some decks and play against each other for both the meta decks to the custom brews that we come up with from time to time. And we'll be doing both New Frontiers and Wanderer formats, so we get a little bit of variety across the board. And this episode is mainly just to get a feel for just the recording and the editing bit, and also to get some feedback and some criticism over like the overlays, the intro which you just saw, just basically the overall feel for the video series. So what we got coming up is a little bit of the custom brew and then the meta decks. It's going to be Charlotte versus Val 2.0. So hopefully you'll enjoy this, and as always, if you have any feedback or criticisms, excuse me, just leave a comment, and we'll take it to heart. So thanks again. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so we are starting game one between Lucas on the left with his Sultai Charlotte deck. If you don't know what Sultai is, basically in Magic terms, if you have never played Magic, it's a color combination of blue, black, and green, which is wind, darkness, and water, not in that order. Going up against Daniel on the right with his Val 2 deck, and both of them starting out with a bunch of Regalia, with Lucas with 2 bows of Artemis, and then Daniel starting out with a Levitine, a Death Sight, and a bow. And then Daniel just passed his turn after dropping those 3 Regalia and tapping for a Ruler's Memoria. Lucas now has a Ruler's Memoria on his field. I see a prison in his hand, so he looks like he might drop that, which he will. Now this Charlotte deck, it looks like it's mostly control, with prisons, anomalies, bear magic, and the such, but also just a bit of green. Later on you'll see for Final Forfeit and one other card I'm not remembering right now. But Daniel tapping for a stone and then just immediately passing. Lucas with his turn tapping for a Dark Depths. And then just passing the turn right there. Neither of them have any resonators so far, while Daniel is tutoring for a Regalia. Let's see what he gets. But still, Daniel racking up the Regalia this early. Hope to get a good push from Valentino when he does Judgment. But of course, Lucas main decking Black Moonbeams. I don't know how much exactly that is, but we'll be sure to see that sometime later on in this matchup. Daniel gets a Levitine from Val's ability. And then starting his turn, he'll tap for another stone, which is a Gusting Skies. Let's see what happens next here. I see a Melfi in there, so that's also a possibility for a drop later on. But he'll play a second Levitine, and then just pass over. And Lucas drawing a Dance of the Shadows, which is quite a more important card in this deck, because this deck also runs Captain Hooks as well, as we see a Dark Storm. And Daniel is going to respond with a Melfi. So now 4 cards left in hand, it'll get reduced down to 2. Let's see what this will randomly drop. like it's going to be a Heavenly Gust. And he'll be discarding, I think, that looks like the promo Barrier of Shadows. And now he'll tack on an Unseen Pressure on the Melfi, so clearing out his board and diminishing his hand, as Daniel will now take his turn. And before recovery, he's going to tap both Levitines and his Death Sight, so looks like he will be looking to Judgment this turn, while Lucas only has one stone untapped. And it looks like he will be doing Judgment. So at this point, if he does show all 7 rulers, it will currently deal, I think, 2,000 damage due to the 3 activations of those Regalia. And there is all 7 Uber rulers. How fancy. But now Valentina with the 14/14 plus the buffs from Levitine and Death Sight. At the moment, it's still currently a 16/16, but the Levitines will have her deal an additional 200 damage for each one that is activated. And then Hill is going to push on through for 2,800 due to a 3rd Levitine and all those activations. So now Lucas is already down to 1,200. And now Lucas needs to fight back. Otherwise he's going to be dead next turn. And he does have a final forfeit in hand. But it doesn't look like no Moonbeam. But he does have a hook in hand. And he could probably use that to block Valentina. And he also has both of his bows, which could come in handy. And it looks like he is going to play the hook. So it looks like the Ruler's Memoria is going to be one of them. That is going on bottom. And then he'll put a Deepwood on top. And then he's just going to pass the turn over to Daniel. Now Daniel having a few options of his own. He could try and push through. I can't see what else he has in hand. But he can also try and tap for stone to try and... No, it looks like he's looking to swing. Still thinking about it. Looks like he is attacking Hook directly thanks to the bow. Bit surprised Lucas doesn't use the bows. Because the Valentina can only get up to 1,600 defense just from the Death Sight, so... And if he does activate the bows, Valentina, she might get imperishable from the Levitines, but that'll still delay him in doing Judgment again since he only has 1 stone on the field. But, you know, maybe just forgot about it. Who knows? But Lucas will now play a Hydromonica. Looks like he has a dance, so let's see what he does. Looks like he's just going to try and activate it right now, actually. So Dance is going to target the Hook in his graveyard, as that's probably like the only option. And Daniel will respond with a Wall of Wind, which Lucas will indeed pay for. And then Lucas will bounce back the last Dual Stone that Daniel has. Daniel will now play another bow. Get 4 counters this time because Valentina does have the Arla name. Still, he could still try and push through. Which he might... No, he's going to tap for a stone. Little fake out there. And then Captain Hook will be removed from play due to Dance of Shadows. So, Lucas, now with his turn, he still has that final forfeit. I don't know what he drew. It looks like an Unseen Pressure. So not helping him there. So what he can do, I think he can try and Judgment here. After final forfeiting Valentina. So that he'll have a good chance of trying to draw into a Moonbeam. But we'll see what happens here. And then he'll go ahead and Judgment right now. And then Daniel with the response. Tries to give Valentina Imperishable, but Final Forfeit will not be having that. So Valentina is now a sitting duck, as he'll try and draw into a Moonbeam. He'll draw 3 cards from that and gain 300. And it looks like a Levitine, a Nameless Mist, and I forgot what the first card was. It looks like another Final Forfeit. So no luck there. Let's see what else he does here. If any, he still has a blocker with Charlotte to live for another turn, as he lays down a Levitine that he just drew. You can also try and do a Nameless Mist to see what he has in hand. But we'll see. Charlotte's Water Transformation is not very helpful here. He will Nameless Mist, and we'll see a Hook, a Seal, and I believe that's it. So Seal will go to the graveyard. And then he'll just pass the turn over to Daniel. Not sure what Daniel drew there, but he'll go ahead and pump before recovery. So now Val is a 16-16. You can still try and push through, but Lucas will just end up blocking with Charlotte, which they will do there. Lucas wondering what to do here. Both of the bows won't help out because that'll deal 800 along with Charlotte's 400, so that's not going to be enough. So Charlotte is now dead, but Lucas will go ahead and Hydromonica, more than likely being a Black Moonbeam. So now it looks like he's just going to Final Forfeit and then Black Moonbeam for Valentina. And it looks like before recovery, well, actually it looks like before the draw, it looks like he's going to try and give Valentina Imperishable. But thanks to Final Forfeit, that will be all for naught, as Lucas will tap for a Ruler's Memoria. And then there's the Final Forfeit. And then Black Moonbeam. So now Val 2 is dead, and both rulers are in Astral. So now Daniel will take his turn, so now he'll try and find an alternate win condition, starting with the Sacred Elf. Then pass on over back to Lucas. And then Lucas, before his recovery, will play Anomaly. And drew into another Anomaly. So that's pretty helpful in any future threats that Daniel might throw out there. So pass on over to Daniel. And then he's going to tap for a Ruler's Memoria. Then play a Maribel. And Lucas drawing another Anomaly, so that'll definitely take care of the Maribel if Daniel chooses to activate it, which he does before recovery. So now Maribel is a 1000-1000, but it probably won't live for long, thanks to the 3 anomalies that Lucas has, both in his graveyard and in his hand. So Lucas taking a look, see if Maribel has anything special, which she doesn't, as far as the body actually goes. So we'll go ahead and anomaly once. So draw. Looks like a nameless mist, I'm not sure. And then there's the second anomaly. So Maribel is now gone. And Lucas draws another card. 5 stones still open, but he'll pass the turn over. And then Daniel, with his turn, he'll put out a Charlotte, draw his card, and pass on over back. So Lucas. Actually, that prison that Lucas put face down at the beginning of the game, he actually forgot about that and can actually be used against Charlotte because prison does not target the Resonator, whose automatic ability is activated. So, bit of a misplay right there, which could ultimately cost him the game. And right there, Lucas realizing that mistake that he just made. Realizing that he missed his opportunity with prison. But he's going to try and continue to push on. We'll see if he does anything, but he doesn't. He'll pass on back. Now with very few options that Lucas has, Daniel will now make his push with Charlotte. Let's see, it looks like he has 4 cards in hand. And he'll tutor for a Regalia to add another card into his hand. Which will be a bow. And he'll get a second one as well. So that'll increase his hand size over to 6, I believe. So now Charlotte will be a 12/12. And has a good high barrier wall for her. And he'll push on over for 1200. And, you know, Lucas will give him the game, reveals the prison. But still, pretty good game. Lucas managed to come back, kill Valentina, and we'll move on to game 2. Okay, so game 2, Lucas will be on the play. He'll drop a Levitine and get a Bluer's Memoria and pass the turn. So Daniel almost tapping for a stone, but he'll play a Regalia, and we'll end up getting a Stone of Black Silence instead. So, let's see what else if he'll drop something else. He'll drop a bow, but no elf to ramp up, so Lucas will now tap for a Dark Depths. Looks like he's got a Moonbeam and a Hook. Didn't quite catch what else is in there. But Daniel will now tap for another Stone of Black Silence. And he'll drop down a Refuge and draw his card and pass the turn back. Lucas drew a Dark Storm. We'll go ahead and play that right away. So we'll see what he'll snag. He will get a Melfi. And Daniel will be looking to discard as well. Looks like it's going to be a Wall of Wind. Thinking about it. But yes, it will be a Wall of Wind. And Lucas will pass the turn back over to Daniel. Let's see, he'll tap for a Stone of Deep Wood. He will play a Horn. And we'll just pass the turn back. Lucas threw a Heavenly Gust. He will call for a Necromancy. I forgot the actual full name of that stone, but Sorrowful Necromancy's Regalia, I think? I don't know. I forgot. How weird. But we'll see what else Lucas does here, if anything. He looks like he has a Death Scythe in hand, an Unseen Pressure. Looks like he'll play the Death Scythe. We'll hold off on the Heavenly Gust for now. We'll just pass back. And Daniel is going to tutor before recovery. He will get a Maribel. Presumably for early pressure or for late game pressure. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. As he will tap for another Stone of Deep Wood. And looks like he'll play the Charlotte. And actually, he doesn't have the correct wheel to play that Charlotte. And as it turns out, we didn't realize this until much later on in the game. So that did ultimately end up being a game loss for Daniel, since we were too far into the game to rewind back to that game state. So now we're tied up at 1-1, and we will go ahead and move on over to the third game. Alright, so game 3, Daniel will be on the play this time around. He will drop a Hydromonica and tap for a Ruler's Memoria, and we'll just pass the turn back over to Lucas. Lucas will drop a Levitine, and we'll tap for a Dark Depths, and we'll just pass on back. Now Daniel, he will get a Black Silence. It's like a Bow, a Seal, a Heavenly Gust. Don't know what else is in his hands. Looks like a Charlotte, maybe? Lucas drawing a Bow. Go ahead and tap for another Dark Depths. So it looks like a Dark Storm in his hand as well, which he will play. Yeah, it looks like he does have a Charlotte in hand, Daniel. Yeah, it looks like Daniel's going to use Seal to stop that. Lucas will drop a Bow and pass on back. Daniel drawing a Nameless Mist. Go ahead and tap for a Stone of Deep Wood. So he'll drop a Levitine. And presumably drop a Nameless Mist. Yes, he will. So we'll go ahead and take a look, see what he has. It's like 2 hooks, a Levitine, and a Water Transformation Magic. Bear Magic not essentially useful for Lucas right now, especially since one, Daniel is like low on resonators, and second, the Charlotte will protect herself from the Bear Magic. So Lucas will get a Ruler's Memoria and just pass on back. Nothing to do with 2 hooks right now. Let's see, it looks like 3 hooks now. So Daniel will tutor for a Levitine. I don't know which part of the turn this is. I assume this is before recovery. And then he'll go ahead and tap Levitine. Looks like Daniel is looking to Judgment right now, considering he knows 3 of the 4 cards in his hand. He'll take a chance on that, and he will Judgment. And her ability is good. He'll show all 7 rulers. So now it looks like he is in for the clear for attacks. He'll drop down a Bow. Probably drop down the second Levitine. Maybe. Nope. Looks like he is going in for the attack for 16 at the moment. He'll pump it up to 18. So now Lucas is going to drop down to 22. And it looks like he will drop down that Levitine. And it will pass on back. Let's see. Didn't quite catch what Lucas drew. Possibly a Nameless Mist, I think. Well, looks like he is going to cast the hook though. And it looks like he's going to put back the Ruler's Memoria and the Stone of Deep Wood. Then restricting Daniel of his stone power, I guess. Pass on over back to Daniel. He'll go ahead and pump once with Levitine. We can see if he might push through, even though the hook and the bow would kill Valentina for the time being. And it looks like he might. No, he's going to tap for a stone. And he's just going to pass on back to Lucas. Destroying a Moonbeam. Good timing right there. So he'll tap for a stone. Now the choice is either to Moonbeam now. No, he'll Nameless Mist to see if the coast is clear. Which it should be, because, you know, he can't respond to the Moonbeam either way, but he'll see what he has in his hand anyway to see what backup plan Daniel might have. It's a Charlotte, a Heavenly Gust Seal, and a Wall of Wind. Still deciding on which one to take. Probably either the Wall of Wind or the Seal. And he'll take the hard counter away from him. And so now it looks like he is in the clear for the Moonbeam. And just like that, Valentina is now gone. So now Hook is now in the clear for the attack for 1100 since he got pumped up by the Nameless Mist. That +1/+1 counter. Now Daniel's down to 29. Daniel will use his Hydromonica to try and get an answer into his hand. As to what, it's really hard to tell because he's only on 2 stones right now, looking to get a 3rd next turn. And he won't be able to cast Charlotte until next turn. So he might need to find an answer right now. Probably either Melfi or perhaps any mana dork. Either a blocker or something or other. So he will draw that card. He will recover and tap for that Ruler's Memoria again. And he'll just pass on back. So Lucas, with his 2 hooks still in hand, and it looks like he'll use Charlotte's ability to rest Hook. Looks like he's just going to dump his hand for a Charlotte Judgment. Either way, because Final Forfeit is pretty much useless right now since Val is already dead. But he will tap for a stone. It is a Ruler's Memoria, and he'll go into battle again. And he'll swing in for 11, which we'll go through. So, looking to put on the pressure even more, he'll play another hook. And Daniel, on his back foot, having only one option really, to use Wall of Wind to try and counter that. But Lucas will be more than happy to pay for that. So now Lucas will now bounce 2 more stones. And it's going to be the same 2 as last time. It's going to be Ruler's Memoria on bottom and Deepwood on top. And it looks like Daniel's going to float a green from the Ruler's Memoria and then just cast Melfi before the end of turn. So now Daniel is in quite a predicament. Top for stone, so he'll have 3 mana open, or 3 will open, I'm sorry. Still in that magic mindset. So, we'll go ahead and cast a Sacred Elf for that 4th mana. Still unable to cast that Charlotte though, because he'll only have 2 water wheel available for next turn. But it might be too little too late, as Lucas is on 2 hooks, looking to try and push through. Looks like he does have an Anomaly in hand, and a Bear Magic, along with the 3rd hook as well. So things are going really well for him. He might just throw down the 3rd hook to bounce both of Daniel's Resonators and then just push through for the win. But looks like he's just going to push through with the 1st Captain Hook. Daniel thinking about blocking with the Sacred Elf, although the bow is still active for Lucas. So he might just be forced to use that. So the 1100 will go through. He'll swing in for the other hook for game. He'll try and block with Melfi. Looks like it's Bear Magic and Anomaly for the win. So there you have it. Sultai Charlotte takes this match 2-1. A bit of a mistake on game 2 on Daniel's part, but hey, mistakes happen. You know, we don't realize it until it's too late. But 2 pretty good games in games 1 and 3. Really pushing it with Val with the early judgments. But in the end, Moonbeam is it's a pretty good card. So thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully this test episode, quote unquote, goes through okay. And any criticisms, any feedback, please do so in the comments down below. And we'll see you in the actual first episode. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.